Okay, so I want to look at this idea of what are known as factors and primes. So to introduce this idea, imagine I gave you €20 and I asked you to share that between 6 people. So pause the video and think about, would those 6 people get an even amount from that €20? So take a few minutes and just think about that. So if we take, let's say, €20 and we divide it up between 6 people, so we can do something like this. So €20 divided up between 6 people, we can see that each person would get roughly €3.33. So it's not an even number. So what we can say then is that this number 6 is not a factor of 20. Okay, so if we were to look at 20 and look for a factor of 20, we can see that 6 is not a factor of 20. Now, what I want you to do now is write down the number of people with whom the money can be shared evenly. Okay, so write that down, and how much will each group get? So we know that we can't split it between 6 people evenly because we get this 3.3, but write down the number of people with whom the money can be shared evenly and how much each group will get. So I'll just give you just a few minutes just to give that a go. So pause the video and try and work that one out. Okay, so if you work this out, what you'll probably find is that you might have got something like this. I'll just put this up here. So if we met one group of people, we would get, each member in the group would get €20. And what we can say is that the number 1, so if we were to take our calculator, and if we were to take 20 and we were to divide it by 1, we can see that it divides in evenly 20 times. So therefore, if we were to, let me just make this a bit smaller here. So if we were to make one group, so give it to one person, that person will get the whole amount, to get €20. So 1 divides in evenly into 20. So what we can say is that 1 is a factor of 20. Now again, if we go down the line and we take that €20 and we split it between 2 people, then each person is going to get €10 each. So again, if we take €20 and we divide it by 20, okay, that's equal to 10. So we get an even. It divides in evenly without any remainder. So what we can say then is that 2 is a factor of 10. Or sorry, 2 is a factor of 20, should I say. And likewise then as well, if we were to take that 20 and split it up between 4 people, so 20 divided by 4, so each person would get €5. So again, 20, we can divide it by 4, so therefore 4 is what's known as a factor of 20. It divides in evenly into 20. And likewise, if we continued on, if we took the €20 and we divided it up between 5 people, okay, each person would get €4 each. So therefore the number 5 is also a divisor, or what's known as a factor of 20. If we took the €20 and we split it between 10 people, that goes in evenly as well. We get, it divides in evenly with an answer of 2, and there's no remainder. So if we split that €20 up between 10 people, each person will get €2. And then likewise, we could make, if we were to take the €20 and split it up between 20 people, okay, each person in that group would get €1 each, so that would be a group of 20 people. So what we can say then is that 20 itself is a factor of itself, or a divisor of itself. So this is this idea, just to kind of introduce what we mean by factors, like what is a factor. So a factor divides in evenly into a number with no remainder. So that's what we mean by what a factor is. So basically a factor will divide into if we were to take any number and get some factors of it, the factors are the numbers or the divisors that will divide in evenly into that number. And these are the examples of the factors of the number 20. So the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 10 and 20. Why are these factors of the number 20? They're factors of the number 20 because they divide in evenly with no remainder, so therefore they're factors. If you take the number 6, for example, 6 does not divide in evenly into 20, so therefore the number 6 is not a factor of 20. And likewise then as well, you might have noticed this relationship also between these two rows here as well. So for example, if I was to take 1 and multiply it by 20, I get the number 20. So what we can say about these guys, if I take 2, multiply it by 10, the answer is 20. So 4 by 5 is 20, 5 by 4 is 20, 10 by 2 is 20, and 20 by 1 is 20. So these relationships here, okay, so these guys, and what you'll also notice as well is that these two pairs of numbers are each factors of 20 as well. So these, and I've listed some of them here, so these are what are known as pairs of factors. So basically pairs of factors are two numbers that are both factors of a particular number, and when you multiply them by each other, they give you that particular number. So as the example here, if we were to take 20, so 1 and 20 are both factors of the number 20, and when we multiply them by each other, we get the number 20. So that's what's known as a pair of factors, or a factor pair. So these are what are known as factors. And what I want to just quickly introduce then as well is this idea of what's called primes. So if we were to take a prime, so what is a prime? So if we were to take, for example, the number 3, so the number 3. So pause the video for a minute and write down all the factors for the number 3. So what you'll notice is that 3 has only 2 factors. So it's 1 and the number 2. So these are the 2 factors for this number 3. Also as well, if you're to take the number 7, for example, so just pause the video and get the factors for 7. So what you'll notice is that 7 also only has 2 factors. Okay, so it has the number 1 and 7 itself. So these particular numbers that only have 2 factors, being the number itself and 1, these are what are known as prime numbers, or primes. So primes. So these are primes. So remember, primes only have 2 factors, the number 1 and the number itself. So the number 3 and the number 7 are 2 examples of what are known as prime numbers. So that's really it for this lesson. So again, factors, what are factors? So a factor divides in evenly into a number with no remainder. So the example being, if we take the number 20, the list of factors for the number 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. Why are these factors of 20? Because if we take the number 20 and we divide them by each of these numbers, they will divide in evenly into 20. And that's the definition, and that's what a factor is. Now also then as well, we can have what are known as factor pairs. So the examples here being that each of these here are a pair of factors of 20. Why are they a pair of factors of 20? Because if you're to take each of the numbers individually, like for example 1 and 20, they will both divide in evenly into the number 20, and also when you multiply them by each other, it gives you the number 20. Then we have these special types of numbers that are known as prime numbers, or primes, and prime numbers only have 2 factors, the number 1 and the number itself. Okay, so this here is, so this should be 3 here. So the factors of 3 are the number 1 and the number itself, which is 3. And the same with the number 7 is a factor, or is a prime as well. So if we take the number 7, it's only divisible by 1 and 7. They will divide in evenly into it. So therefore, these are what are known as primes.